Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. Today is Black Balloon Day. It's a day where people can honor and remember loved ones who died from a drug overdose. Big Fox's Josh Feldberg reports on the latest on the region's efforts against the opioid crisis.
Black Balloon Day has become an annual event on March 6th since 2015. Today, the Steuben Prevention Coalition released virtual balloons to help raise awareness and act as a symbol of commemoration to those who are no longer with us. In Hornell, Mayor John Buckley issued a proclamation declaring March 6th as Black Balloon Day in the city. The proclamation encourages citizens to partake in educational activities and proactive conversations about the epidemic. The Steuben County Public Health Department released the Steuben Opioid Update for the month of February today as a part of Black Balloon Day. This last month, the county had 24 reported overdoses with 1 fatality. 6 cases of Narcan administrations were also reported throughout the month. At the current rate, Steuben County will have a similarly tragic number of opioid overdose cases to last year, despite the county's efforts to try and stop the crisis. Earlier this year, the county installed 21 Narcan boxes around the county in areas with higher than normal overdose rates. The county also began a free Narcan kit mailing service to encourage the use of the life-saving drug. For those who are struggling with opioid-related problems, there are community resources that can help. The Steuben Prevention Coalition and Casa Trinity both offer resources to those who are looking for a place to start a path to recovery. Josh Feldberg, Big Fox News, Steuben County.
Ithaca Fire Department has a new chief. Acting Chief Rob Covert has been promoted to the permanent position of Fire Chief. Chief Covert is a 30-year veteran of the department, serving in the roles of firefighter, deputy chief, acting chief, and now permanent chief of the department. The chief began with the department back in 1992. A first-come, first-served diaper and menstrual product giveaway is returning to Elmira. The Junior League of the Greater Elmira Corning area will host giveaways in March and May. The first will be held March 13th at the Grace Episcopal Church in Elmira. That's at 375 West Church Street. The giveaway will begin at 5 and is for anyone in need of the products. No pre-registration or income verification will be required. A Corning native was recently honored with the Navy's Junior Sailor of the Year Award. Brittany Raub is a 2015 Corning Painted Post graduate who currently serves on the USS George Washington. According to the Navy, the Junior Sailor of the Year Award is given to exemplary sailors selected by a board of senior officers. Turning now to 2024 and the run for the White House. Several Republicans spent the weekend vying for support from conservatives. And there's growing speculation about when or if President Biden will announce his re-election bid. Doug Luzader has the story.
Judging from those who are even just testing the waters at this point, this is shaping up to be a very crowded Republican primary field, with former President Trump making his case just outside of Washington.
I do it for you, and that's what I'm doing it for. I do it for you.
A cheering crowd for former President Donald Trump at the Conservative Political Action Conference, CPAC, over the weekend. And he handily won the group's straw poll for the Republican nomination.
No surprise at all. This is the friendliest place for the former president outside of Mar-a-Lago. And look, whether or not the GOP wants to admit it or not, Donald Trump has the most legitimate claim to be the leader of the party right now.
Florida stood as a refuge of sanity.
But there will be challengers, with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis making high-profile appearances in advance of a possible candidacy. And Trump's former Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, is also making the rounds. On the other hand, former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan says he won't run, seeing a GOP pileup in the making.
Absolutely toughest decision I ever made.
My message to you is this: we see you.
President Biden in Selma, Alabama yesterday, and while he has certainly suggested that he will seek a second term, he hasn't made it official just yet. Will there be a crowd of Democratic challengers? West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin isn't ruling out a run, and he's non-committal right now on the president.
Let's see who's involved. Let's wait until we see who all the players are. Let's just wait until it all comes out.
One person is dead and 2 others in critical condition following an apparent crowd stampede in Rochester. It happened late last night during a performance by rapper Glorilla. Police say the injuries and death appear to be the result of a large crowd pushing towards the exits, following accounts of people hearing what they believe to be gunshots in the venue. Norfolk Southern is enhancing its safety operations with several new initiatives. The new plan comes after Ohio sees its second train derailment in 1 month. Garrett Tenney has more.
After 2 train derailments in Ohio, Norfolk Southern announcing a new 6-point safety plan on Monday. The company's goals include boosting the number of sensors used to detect when a train's wheels are overheating, as well as accelerating research on a digital train inspection program. Ahead of a Senate hearing this week, CEO Alan Shaw says these improvements will require an industry-wide effort. Quote, "We are eager to help drive that effort, and we are not waiting to take action."
There's so much going on that we're seeing at the federal level with different federal agencies. It's sort of like, where do you start?
Norfolk Southern's safety plan comes after another one of its trains derailed in Ohio on Saturday. The incident happened near Springfield and prompted residents living nearby to shelter in place. The EPA says there were no spills from the derailed cars and no release of hazardous material into the air or water.
The derailment is not in an area with a protected water source, meaning there is no risk to the public water system or private wells at this time.
More than 200 miles away in East Palestine, crews are cleaning up contaminated soil from last month's train derailment. EPA officials remain on the ground testing the air and water wells for chemicals.
I want people to try to get back to just living a normal life. I know it's hard, but I trust the science.
This week, Norfolk Southern CEO is scheduled to testify before the U.S. Senate and the state Senate in Pennsylvania. In Chicago, I'm Garrett Tenney, Fox News.
An interesting trend is showing up in the government's jobs reports. More people are picking part-time jobs on purpose, even as hotels and restaurants struggle to find workers. Younger people are also shunning traditional workday routines. Madeline Rivera reports the latest from Washington.
A pandemic setback is turning into a comeback.
How are you down there?
The hospitality and leisure industry is hiring, but many of the country's fastest growing employers can't find workers.
We're horribly understaffed. We have one bartender, and she will handle 25 seats at the bar, 2 dining rooms, and our outdoor seating.
Hiring at hotels, bars, and restaurants has helped keep the unemployment rate at a 5-decade low. But a booming labor market is creating a hiring bottleneck. The labor participation rate has fallen, and now Americans are cutting down hours by choice. The number of part-time workers rose by 1.2 million in December and January, according to the Labor Department.
People are reevaluating what they want to do with their lives.
Another significant shift in attitudes toward work. Some younger people are shunning full-time jobs because they don't want to get burned out. It's part of a movement known on TikTok as Bare Minimum Monday.
The mornings are hard. Your brain gives you 10 different reasons to go back to bed.
The idea is to ease into the work week by prioritizing your well-being over a stressful to-do list.
A Monday of full recovery will be very beneficial.
Others aren't on board.
I do know people do not want to work. People are lazy.
This tight labor market has afforded a lot of leverage to workers, but a potential recession could change that, with more layoffs possible on the horizon.
That is going to shift the power dynamic, and you're going to see many of these trends fall by the wayside.
We'll see whether Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell drops hints about slowing the economy with future interest rate hikes when he testifies before a Senate committee on Tuesday. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
Still ahead, we have your complete forecast. Plus, cardiovascular disease is the #1 cause of death for women in the U.S., and it kills more than 50,000 black women each year. Ways to keep the heart healthy and prevent a heart attack from coming on.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Well, good evening. We will be entering into a fairly
fairly quiet week ahead. However, there are some active conditions before we get to those quiet conditions. Now, we're noting that as we stepped into our Monday afternoon and evening, cloud cover became more overcast. It got a little breezy, and the next system was just sliding on through portions of New York and across Pennsylvania, just skimming the area with the potential of some light snow showers. Now, as we look at the potential accumulation, you're seeing here that there is ranges of anywhere of upwards of an inch, 2 inches, even some isolated 3 to 4 inches. Now, these are two separate systems. Now, as we try to split these up, here's what we're noting is that this overnight system is looking to mainly to be off to the southwest. We'll see that locally Elmira and Corning might walk away with upwards of an inch to little to nothing, where most of the accumulations will be occurring to the southwest. Now, what we see in place is after this system starts to work its way out, a high pressure system pushes its way in, which is going to bring some breezier winds into our Tuesday forecast, which is going to initiate some lake effect snow showers where another inch to 3 inches may be possible as we look into portions of the Finger Lakes. So quickly just going back again to this map, this is going to be our accumulation over the next 48 hours. So we'll end up with really generally an inch to 2 inches, some isolated 3 inches possible, dependent on some of that lake effect snow that might even stick around for Wednesday. So we'll watch those numbers. However, as we get out of that, as we head into the middle of the week, it is going to be quieter and we'll start to see some slight warming as we've been turning to a cooler than average temperature trend. Now, as we roll into our Tuesday, note that as the snow showers will be increasing with a lake effect potential, so will the winds as we have that west-northwesterly wind getting upwards even 30 to 35 miles per hour. So a little bit of a breezy afternoon where there will be those snow showers in place, keeping us underneath those cloudy skies and then restricting high temperatures to those mid-30s. So about 5 up to 10 degrees below average for this time of the year. So not Arctic air, but definitely a trend to still want to keep around some of those winter layers as we're trying to get some of those spring-like feels. But it seems like really when it came to much of this winter, we had a lot of those, and now we're starting to see some cooler temperatures in place. But as we head into Wednesday, we'll start to see those lake effect snow showers break off. Again, still we'll mention a chance just due to that northerly wind in place and that high pressure system moving in, which again restricts us into those 30s. Now, as we head into Thursday and Friday, we'll start to clear out those skies and then watch that high pressure system drift its way off towards the east, which that means that we do gain a little bit of a southerly wind. So that helps to bump temperatures up at least to more of a seasonal trend by Friday with some sunshine, but it looks to be short-lived. By the weekend, we will be tracking a wintry system due to temperatures trending a little bit cooler and having that potential of, again, some rain and snowfall all possible, which will start on Saturday and then continue to bring us active weather into early next week.
Cardiovascular disease takes a tremendous toll on American women, and Black women in particular. But there are things you can do to keep your heart healthy and avoid having a heart attack. Frankie Thompson reports.
Cardiovascular disease is the #1 cause of death for women in the United States.
1 in every 3 women will die from cardiovascular disease. And in fact, 1 in every 2 Black women will die from cardiovascular disease.
Dr. Michelle Albert with American Heart Association says heart condition kills more than 50,000 Black women each year, with stroke being the leading cause of their death. Annually, the association dedicates February as the Heart Health Awareness Month to connect with women who are at risk.
Women taking charge of their lives and their heart health, knowing their cholesterol, knowing their blood pressure, knowing their sugar levels.
The question is, why is heart disease targeting this specific population? Doctors say there are risk factors more prevalent in Black people that cause heart failure and attacks.
High blood pressure, hypertension, high blood sugar, diabetes, overweight, obesity, smoking.
Dr. Hailu Tillahan with Virginia Mason Franciscan Health says the heart condition starts with their choice of food and salt intake.
Stress reduction is another thing too, because we know that's something that can increase the likelihood of all these risk factors.
When it comes to treating these health and heart issues in people of color, Tillahan says affordability and access to health care is a factor.
Are there facilities that people can access that can provide that care? And so it can be a challenge depending on socioeconomic issues or not.
To address the disparities in care, Virginia Mason Franciscan Health is piloting its Healthy Hearts program. It partners with faith communities for 16 weeks, teaching members how to self-monitor their blood pressure and discuss results with a nurse. Tillahan says a simple step anyone can do for a healthier heart is change their diet.
Trying to avoid processed food and minimal red meat and more fish and moderate amount of chicken. Regular exercise, that's the recommendation is a minimum of 30 minutes a day, at least 5 times a week.
Inflation isn't just affecting the cost of food for people. Pet owners in the United States are also dealing with a spike in pet food prices. The Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis says the cost of food for pets rose 15.1% year over year in January, and pet owners have taken notice. One man says his pet's food seems to cost about the same, but there's been an increase in the price of pet treats.
I've not experienced pet food going up, but pet treats have gone up.
Yeah, I have definitely experienced that. I actually recently switched my dog to a different brand of pet food.
One pet owner says if the overall cost of pet food ever reached $400 a month, she'd have to reconsider owning a dog. But other owners say they would not consider parting with their pets, regardless of the cost of feeding them. Still ahead, an industry hit hard by the pandemic is now growing fast. Which companies are seeing a hiring boom? Coming up. People in the U.S. appear to have changed their drinking habits when it comes to alcoholic beverages. Jody Goldberg reports on what industry insiders and the public have to say.
If I had to choose between the two, it would be beer.
Oh, liquor. Yeah. I feel much better afterwards.
Cocktail culture continues to thrive in the United States as spirits revenue surpasses beer for the first time as the nation's most money-making alcoholic beverage.
18 years ago, there were probably 60 distilleries in the United States. Today, there's over 2,400 distilleries in the United States. Probably 60 to 70 distilleries in the great state of New York.
The findings, according to the Distilled Spirits Council of the United States, show despite the tough economy, the spirits industry generated some $200 billion in U.S. economic activity last year.
Consumers are gravitating to tequila, American whiskey, and so forth. So it's an exciting time for our industry.
The Distilled Spirits Council also found that while vodka remains the top category by volume, pre-mixed cocktails, tequila, and whiskey are the fastest growing categories.
Liquor is easier to drink.
Now, experts credit several reasons for the shift, including pricing, demographics, consumer preferences, and company decisions like marketing or branding.
We've gotten older as a country, which leads to different drinking patterns, and different generations want to drink different things.
Beer boasters believe the findings aren't necessarily tied to popularity, but rather premiumization.
Spirits has been gaining ground against beer when it comes to the volume consumed. But one of the things that has driven the spirits growth over the last decade especially is people trading up to higher priced beverages. People spending more per bottle.
As far as the future, they predict beer won't remain flat forever.
We see waves, we see changes. And so it's likely at some point in the future, we're going to be talking about beer regaining share.
Hotels, bars, and restaurants are seeing a hiring boom. According to a report by the Wall Street Journal, the hospitality industry is a big part of the nation's fastest growing employers. Bars, hotels, and restaurants are reviving their workforces after being hit hard by the pandemic. The report adds that the hospitality industry continues to contribute to a 53-year low unemployment rate, despite the layoffs and hiring slowdown within tech companies. Russell Stover is recalling some of their chocolate due to potential for undeclared pecans. The company says the batches affected are the 2.4-ounce packages of the sugar-free peanut butter cups. They have best before dates of 01 May 23 and 01 June 23. Consumers who purchase the recalled candy can contact Russell Stover for a refund. So far, there have been no reports of allergic reactions or illnesses. We'll be back with more right after this. We want to leave you with a smile. A company is offering sea lovers a chance that might be hard to resist. Life at Sea Cruises offers customers a chance to visit more than 100 countries over a 3-year cruise. The cruise ship has 400 cabins, which can house close to 1,100 passengers. For those wanting to work during the trip, the ship has 14 office spaces available, as well as a business center and meeting rooms. However, this extravagant trip will set you back about $30,000 a year. I'm Scott Beadle. Bon voyage, and thanks for watching.